Hi, this is Jim from Jim's Holiest Coleus, and I just wanted to throw out another video updating on how my coleus are doing after about a week in the greenhouse. We had some nice warm weather. Past couple of nights it's dropped in the 50s, so but it's been pretty warm in the greenhouse, and as I mentioned, I expected my coleus to respond pretty well, and they are. Maybe you can look at the other video and, as I'm going to do, make a comparison and see how much these have actually grown inside of a week. What I just did is as I had mentioned, I rotate these around. As you can see, some of them are facing opposite. They naturally, plants face towards the sun. So I just turn that one here so we can have a nice look at it. But I moved a lot of them around, back to front, turned them around, just to show how they respond. And they're getting there. Again, we haven't. I'm on the shoreline of New Jersey, so generally New Jersey weather, we'll say it'll be in the upper 80s or the high 70s, and it's many times it's a 10-degree difference. I might only be in the low 70s, and I'm two blocks in from the ocean, so I get that cool ocean breeze coming in here. But this is a southern exposure greenhouse, so I got a lot of sun. Some more. And again, I just opened up. I have the door open, the vent window, and here's I don't think I've ever really showed this on this is a hinged vent window, and these are essential in greenhouses. You need to get that ventilation going. So I'm really trying to find a date to sell my peppers, because they're ready to go. Before they start getting hard to handle, they're really getting going here. So I expect to have a few of the coleus pots ready before Mother's Day, but there'll be a number of other coleus that aren't, which is okay. I have a few more, another month or so. Here's the hanging baskets. I've been pruning some of these also. Some of the underlying leaves. So, and again, pruning is good for the plant. It actually promotes the bottom growth, so you have a nice full coleus. So, as hard as it is to cut some of these beautiful leaves, it's essential. So you're not going to hurt the plant. You're actually going to help it. So you put up with it like I do. As I throw these beautiful leaves on the ground here, I say to myself, it's for the better of the plant. So I just wanted to bring up one thing, and I am by no means an expert. I'm not a horticultural specialist. I don't pretend to be. I learned. I did make a major mistake this year by putting some of my younger plants out a few weeks, a month or so. I posted a video about hardening my plants and putting them outside for a few hours in the cold, in the rain, and I made a mistake because it was a combination of, I think the temperature still was too cool, and I left them out too long, and it started getting windy, and I got some damage. You can see some of these in the back. The leaves are partially, they're burned. As you can see there. Now the plant's still alive, but this is going to slow things down on these plants. That's why these plants are behind. These should be a little bigger. So I made that mistake, and that's part of it. Next year I won't. And so even though last year I had so many more plants, I didn't do that. Because I didn't really know. So, but I did. Next year I'll know better, and I'll wait. I won't be in such a rush. As much as you want to harden your plants, there's such a thing, which I learned, that you can't put them out too early. They have to be a little more established. So, but that's okay. They're not dead. They're just, there was a few of them that were in really bad shape, but the stems are still alive, so I just trimmed the top. And that'll come back. It'll start growing. And you can see, I don't know if it shows up on the camera, but as you can see, the edges are burned. And the color is not as vibrant. It's kind of washed out. You can see there. So that was my mistake. So, and here's some more of those plants. I just moved these and rotated them around. As you can see, they're facing away from the sun. And by tomorrow, they'll be turned around facing the sun. And it's good for the plant. I have lots of air moving in here. I got a nice breeze. And I gave them a little bit of water, but this is good quality water retention soil, Miracle-Gro. So not too much. And I know that these plants will do. I mean, they look beautiful already. Now I don't have the fan set up yet because it's still a cool breeze, but there's going to be days, and you may be in a part of the country that's different in New Jersey, where it's already hot and humid and stagnant. So you're going to need that fan to get your air moving if you have a greenhouse. So, but today, lately we've been getting a nice breeze. Actually, I have to open that flap to get more of it, but it's still. When I came out here a few hours ago, it was about 90, so it's as you can see, in the 60s, but that's okay. I'll close it. I wanted to get a good shot of some air in here, and in a little while I'll shut it and get it warmed up in here for the overnight. Now, it dipped into the 40s overnight here. So it got to be around 55 in here, which is all right. There's no frost danger, so I wasn't too concerned. It was still, mild in here. And these plants are going to have plenty of opportunity for some nice, warm, hot, humid weather. So if you take a look at my first video I posted last week, as I'm going to do, then you'll be able to see how much these have grown. Again, I have the time-release fertilizer mixed in with the soil. Miracle-Gro, good quality Miracle-Gro top potting soil, has some fertilizer mixed in. And there are some that claim, they say that coleus really don't need a lot of fertilizer. So you don't really have to kill yourself if you don't. But I can't stress enough the importance of getting good potting soil. I've used that dollar store stuff, and for little plants, it's just so much debris mixed in. It's chopped up wood pieces and stuff, and I'm just not doing it anymore. I'm going to stick with the Miracle-Gro. It's very fine, and it's great for these young plants. It gives the roots, it makes it easier for the roots to establish. So as you can see, that's the silk stocking. It's got a little bit of damage, the white, but that'll come right. I'm going to trim those. Do that tomorrow. I'm going to trim those white damaged plant leaves, and it'll start coming right back. Here's the other rooting that I have. That's the silk stockings. Now I'm going to trim these, but I'm going to get. I have the option. You have the option. If you have a coleus like this, see how tall it is? It's reaching. You can. There's nothing wrong with cutting it right here. And I may do that because I have these. I have this growth coming in. So by cutting here, which I think I'm going to do, by cutting here, you're getting rid of all this up here, which is taking all the nutrients away from these little fellas. So by cutting this up here, I'm gonna increase the nutrition to these little plants, these buds coming in, and they'll come in even stronger. So I'll do that tomorrow, or when I sign off here. I'm gonna trim, easy to see. So I'm gonna trim this very top here, which is normal, which is really, that's how you promote this. Again, this is a rooting. This was from a larger plant that I had that broke off or fell off. I rooted it in a jar of water. I have about 6 or 7 rootings in my house still that are just starting to get some roots going, that I'm going to bring out here and pot. There's a couple of smaller ones. I just trimmed that one that got damaged, so that'll start coming back. And again, these are the shade. There is some shade from the trays, so I move things around a little. As your Kong, and you can see there's only 3 leaves. One of them I trimmed, and I can actually trim that one on the left because it's a little damaged. And again, these were the ones I spoke of before. I made that mistake, and next year I won't do it. I won't make that mistake. Okay. And there's some growth coming in on the bottom. This is a jitters. There's some growth coming in. You can trim these large leaves up top, and again, that'll accelerate the undergrowth. And eventually, as I mentioned, this basket will be full, and you won't see any. You're not going to see any of the soil. You're going to see 2 or 3 big coleus overflowing, and it really looks nice. If you look at some of my older videos from last year, I had a number of hanging baskets that just look beautiful. These Kongs are great. And I mentioned this, there's hundreds and hundreds of varieties of coleus, and I decided, hey, I'm just gonna sell some Kong and a few others because that's what I sold a lot last year. But in retrospect, now I'm thinking I missed the variety. So, and again, that's there's always next year. So next year I'm gonna go and maybe seed some different ones that I had. I'm gonna definitely do the Kongs because they're my favorite, but I'm gonna try a couple that I've never done. The Kaleidoscope, that's mine. They were very hard, and even this year they were very hard to seed. I know I seeded a number of them and they just didn't take. So it's interesting. Isn't that neat? Again, I turn these around. There's some undergrowth, some growth coming through. Nice pink. There's a Darth Vader, and again, that was a cutting from this plant that broke off. And rather than throw it out, I just rooted it in water, and now it's a pot plant, and I'll sell that to somebody. Somebody wants a Darth Vader coleus, they got one. And again, I moved this around. I just turned it around front to back to get them all. I don't want to burn them in the sun, so I make sure that they're getting light, but I don't want to overstress them because they're already made life difficult for them. I don't want to do it again. There we go. Okay, so till next week, stay tuned, and I'll post another video. We'll see how these look. Have a good weekend, everybody.